Hello and welcome to Your Vegan Eats, the special Kitchen Anarchist / Leo coffee edition. I'm not even had a coffee yet and I'm acting like I'm wired. Several people have asked what I use. This will be a series of coffee accoutrements. The thing we'll be using today, or first off, is the V60. That's what I've been using a lot. And it used to be I had this ceramic filter holder which was really nice, and I just literally did the equivalent of that. Everything changed thanks to the arrival of this, which Ivy's very dear friend Ben made for me as a birthday present, which was so unbelievably sweet. The ceramic one I had didn't fit, so new one of those. And I found that because there was more space underneath than just for a cup, was that I should maybe do something. Then when we were in Amsterdam, I saw someone, one of the coffee shops that we were there, they actually had a glass bowl which they poured their coffee into, and you got a wee bit more than a cup. And I thought, that's fantastic. I know, I'll get a thermos, because that way I won't drop, if I drop it, it won't smash, because, well, let's face it, I'm not exactly not clumsy, shall we say. So yeah, so we're currently using a Guatemalan, courtesy of Cheap Shot Coffee, which is by St Patrick's Square, in a lovely coffee flask which Ivy spotted at IKEA. So yay, I now have coffee storage. Should I measure this? Yes. Do I? No. So I'll stop talking whilst this. Does its thing. Now I think I went through about 2 or 3 different coffee grinders, but I actually switched to an electric after I knackered my back a couple of years ago, and Ivy very sensibly said, I'm not saying you can't get one, I'm saying you've already got a whack load of coffee accoutrement as is, let's rationalise a wee bit. Which was a fair cop, because there was a Chemex that never got used, a Cafe Da that never really got used, an AeroPress that never really got used, the V60, and yeah, it was got a good point here. There is a lot of stuff that just doesn't get used, so that was cleared down, and yes, I now have a KitchenAid, which I adore, because yeah, hand grinding your coffee beans is all very cool and all, but it takes forever, and in the case of my back it was hurting. And fresh ground, the smell of fresh ground coffee is lovely. Now I've got to be honest, I'm doing this way because this is a video. Normally I take the kettle, pour it in a wee bit to let it bloom, and then literally just pour and fill, pour and fill, pour and fill. But because we have one of the delicate pouring kettles, which gives you the control to do this, I thought I should. So here we are, having had a brief interlude whilst this slowly filters down. We're finally through to the end of it, so now it's just a quick swap out, because inevitably there's always something that just sort of slowly drips down. I now have a thermos of lovely coffee. There's probably about 2 cups in there, maybe 2 and a bit. And so now on to, oh yeah, almond. We used to drink soy exclusively, but I've switched to almond. not more for taste reasons than anything, but I've found there's been I've had quite a lot of problems recently with soy splitting. Whereas I find that almond doesn't have that problem as much. He said jinxing it, and now causing this to split. Or in this case, not. Woo! Technical specifications times. We have a KitchenAid coffee grinder. As I've already mentioned, this is fantastic. You can take the thing apart and clean the bars if you so wish. But I've never done that because I always think, oh my dear lord, I'll never get it back together again. We have a Hario V60 pourer in metal, which obviously holds the paper filters. There's a wee Chinese teacup underneath, which I believe you snaked from a Chinese supermarket as the drip catcher. And yeah, obviously there's the stand, the all-important stand, as made by Ivy's very dear friend Ben. Massive shout out to him for this, as it's lovely. The Hario thermos, Hario tea spout pourer kettle or some such, I can't remember what it's called. The aforementioned coffee storage jar from IKEA, and with the coffee beans from Cheap Shot at St Patrick's Square, and a V60 paper filter holder, also by Hario obviously, and the V60 paper filters by Hario. Yeah, a little bit Hario obsessed, as you may have guessed. And last off, almond milk from Morrison's along the road. So, welcome back. Here's me drinking the coffee made earlier using the V60. I'm going to talk a wee bit about technologies which I no longer use. First off is the Chemex, which is basically like a V60 but with a glass bowl on the bottom. Looks lovely. But given that I'm a clumsy soul who cracks his shins off tables frequently, I always had a degree of fear using the damn thing. I was convinced I was going to break it, if not using it, then washing it. The other thing is that instead of having a paper filter that sits on the top, it had a canvas bag that sat in, which aesthetically looked fantastic. Absolute pig to clean. So, whilst yes, obviously the canvas bag is much better environmentally speaking, it was just a complete faff, and so that's why that got abandoned. The other one is the Café Da, which is a small stainless steel cup with a saucer attached to it, and it has very small holes drilled in the bottom, and it's the same principle. Sits on top of your coffee cup, pour over, and down the coffee slowly drips in. I mean, it takes a good 5-10 minutes to do. If you have a small cup of coffee, you're laughing because, yeah, it is 5 minutes. If it's this size, closer to 10. It is a bit of a nightmare. Commonly used in Vietnam because they use it with condensed milk, which is where my love of condensed milk and coffee comes from. Originally I thought, great, I can take this into work. I've got a small compact coffee maker for work. That got abandoned very quickly because I do not have 5 to 10 minutes to make myself a coffee when I'm on my break. So yeah, quick overview of a couple of coffee technologies that I no longer use, and I will see you in the next video.